Hey guys, Mike from Arms Concealed Carry and M3 Firearms Training. Just got home from the range, and while I was at the range and on my way home, I had a couple questions asked about far target shooting at distance and running the gun effectively at a 25-yard target. So one of my students who was in law enforcement was doing his weapons qual today, and during his string of fire at the 25-yard line, he had dropped a shot or two outside the target area, and he didn't get his perfect score, which was what he was hoping for. And it was literally those two shots at 25 yards. So the question was, what do I need to do to fix that? The biggest thing when it comes down to shooting at distance and shooting at targets at 15, 25, 35, and sometimes even 45 yards is controlling the gun with the grip, okay? Controlling the gun all comes down to grip. And we've addressed this in one of my other videos where I'm super tight with my support hand. I'm holding the gun in place and I'm letting that shot break, okay? So I'm holding it, grip super tight. You can see my fingers are kind of turning white here, and I'm pinching my finger underneath the trigger guard, and I'm letting that gun go off. And then when the gun goes off, it returns right back to where I want those sights to be. He had expressed to me, my student expressed to me that the instructor at the range did the old school, hold the sights, let the shot surprise you, which is great. That's perfectly fine. One thing I don't like about that mentality is as you're shooting, okay, you're holding that gun up, and I've gone with a lighter gun here. So this is your typical Beretta 92 FS I've had for years. And I use this to kind of demonstrate with double action, holding that gun nice and level, nice and steady. If I'm sitting here holding this gun, and the gun's got a little bit of weight to it, it's not a super light gun, but it's also not a super heavy gun, really doesn't matter, because the longer I hold this in place, the more the gun is going to move. So if I'm holding this and I'm slowly squeezing that trigger back, waiting for that shot to break, what's going to happen? I'm going to fatigue myself, the gun's going to start moving, and then when the shot does break, I'm going to lose control of that gun. It's going to dance around. Now I'm trying to fight those sights getting back into the target. So one thing I've always told people is, if the sights are there, they're where you want them to go, squeeze the trigger. Why are you going to sit here and wait for everything to stop moving? It's not going to stop moving. In fact, the longer we hold the gun up, the more it's going to move, because now I'm starting to fatigue myself, because this is not a supported position. So I can hold this for a certain amount of time and squeeze the trigger, but after a while, my sights are going to start moving because I'm fatiguing myself, because this is unsupported. So instead of trying to make all the stars align and all the planets align, you know there's going to be movement. As soon as you see where that sight is, just squeeze the trigger and let the shot break. If you throw a shot, it's not the end of the world, okay? Readjust the grip, readjust, get your sights back in, and squeeze the trigger. But the longer you hold this gun up in an unsupported position, the more it's going to move. How do we combat that? A lot of it is grip, okay? Going back to that past video that we talked about, controlling the gun with the support hand, holding it nice and tight with the support hand, laxed on the firing hand. As soon as I see that sight go into the target, I'm squeezing the trigger. The gun's going to break, it's going to recoil, it's going to come back down to where I want it to go, and as soon as I see my sight right where I want it to be, I'm going to squeeze the trigger. Now, it's a little bit different, obviously, with a competition gun with a 2.5 pound trigger versus a stock Beretta with a double action trigger. What's going to happen with the trigger pull on this? It's going to be a little bit longer of a trigger pull. But as I squeeze the trigger, notice what is moving. Just my finger on the trigger to manipulate it back and let the shot break. The target that I'm aiming in at is a reflection of one of my targets on the wall, and it's a target about this big. And what I'm doing is I'm holding that sight on the target, and I'm squeezing, and boom, there it is. The sight has not moved. The gun recoils, I bring it right back to where I want to go, and I squeeze the trigger again. The thing about shooting, I've said it to many people, I'll say it again, shooting is reactionary. You react to the gun going off. Don't be proactive, be reactive. Let the shot break, let that sight return to where you want it to go, and squeeze the trigger again. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for everything to stop moving. When you see your sights on that target, squeeze the trigger, let it go. So I hope this helps. Hopefully it's a little bit more information for you out there. Take what you will from it. If you got any comments, questions, feel free to reach out. You can leave comments underneath this video. And as always, stay zeroed, stay frosty.